Hi there. You are in my classroom. It's the end of the night, and I wanted to quickly leave a message. You know, Cinderella in Focus is social science that I've woven into fiction. And the reason why I took social science as my bedrock is it's research by respected college professors, and I've thought to weave it into a story because I firmly believe that we mature not by age but by stories. Stories speak to our collective humanity, and also stories help us to remember information better. That's just how the human brain was created. It's been this way for centuries. So why not work with a natural way of thinking? And so at the same time, I wanted to share this with you. While I was teaching, I found a little gift. This is from my youngest daughter. She wanted me to make sure that I remember that I love her and she loves me, and she wanted to leave this behind. She made this at school, apparently. And this was her little gift. She's only 5 years old. Actually, she just newly turned 6. 6 years old. So if we think about these relationships in the context of your own life that mean a lot to you, from a scientific basis, there are 4 traits that these relationships have, almost like a compass. The first trait is uniqueness. So think about the relationships closest to you. There's a sense of uniqueness. Uniqueness meaning you cannot replicate it. Like this relationship that I have with this particular child of mine is very unique. I love the fact that she's always so thoughtful, that she took time, and I believe she made this at school, to make her mom something. It's really special. And then she snuck it into my book bag, and I saw it while I was lecturing. The second element that special relationships in our lives have is the sense of interdependence. Interdependence meaning we can function perfectly well by ourselves, but the fact that I have this child in my life that brings so much love and happiness to my world has just enriched it innumerably. And so that's the second element. So we looked at uniqueness, we looked at a sense of interdependence. Sure, I can live without her love, but the fact that she's part of my world and I'm part of her world just adds value to both of our experiences. And that leads me to the third point, which is intrinsic reward. There's some kind of benefit that I'm getting from this relationship. And as you can tell, for me, it's just beautiful feelings, just happiness. You know, of course, like any relationship, you go through your dips. We were ready to pull our hair out and ready to, fighting and all that good stuff that goes with just cohabitating in an everyday family environment. But this particular child just brings me so much happiness, and just being around her. To quote what my oldest daughter said when she was 2 years old, "A rainbow grows in my heart," and that's what I feel like. Or the way my youngest, this daughter that created this, said, "A double rainbow grew in my heart today, Mom, when I thought of you." So that's really that intrinsic value. And then the fourth element that we have is a sense of disclosure. Now, this is very interesting. Within a low context culture such as our Western society, I call it Western thinking society, self-disclosure is really a key ingredient in creating a sense of bonding. Isn't that fascinating? So if I disclose something about myself, I'm going to almost assume that you are going to disclose something about yourself as well. And then collectively, we're going to experience the sense of connection because we've both shared little pieces of ourselves. So when we think about the most meaningful relationships in our life, we need to think about 4 key ingredients and see how true it is within your own special, I call them sacred relationships. They have 4 ingredients. They have a sense of uniqueness, a sense of interdependence where you can survive without them, but because they're in your life, it adds so much more value, which leads me to the third point, intrinsic reward. Some kind of a feeling or some kind of outcome that inspires like a sense of richness, right? When I think of my children, they just inspire the sense of awe, wow, to think I'm their mom, special feeling. And then the fourth element is the sense of self-disclosure, because they know me so intimately and I know them intimately as well, and it's created the sense of bond. So when we think of human relationships, those are the 4 key ingredients that create like a compass that we measure all other relationships against. And this is based off social science. But of course, we experience it every day as just a feeling. But this is the mechanics behind that feeling. And that's also discussed in my novel, Cinderella in Focus. I try to look at it from two perspectives. A little bit of an academic spin, just because that's what my experience is in, but then I've also turned it into fiction, into a story, because it speaks to our long-term memory. Thank you much for visiting, following us along. Welcome to my classroom. Until next week, cheers.